This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar. Your favorite clean, functional, delicious nutrition brand is raising the bar with a little help from Thomas Keller, Michelin star chef of the French Laundry. IQ Bar and Thomas Keller have teamed up to create a salted caramel chip protein bar and yuzu mango hydration mix. With toasted macadamia nuts, rich caramel flavor, and brain-boosting nutrients, this bar is like having a Michelin star meal in your pocket. Pair it with the taste bud tingling yuzu mango IQ Mix hydration mix, packed with magnesium and adaptogens to improve clarity and mood. With Keller's culinary excellence and IQ Bar's commitment to great taste and clean ingredients, this limited edition collaboration is simply mwah. And the best part is that 10% of sales go directly to Chef Keller's nonprofit, Mentor, that supports aspiring young chefs. Great taste, great nutrition, great mission. Go to iqbar.com today and enter promo code Keller20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. That's iqbar.com, promo code Keller20.
And just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
What does this mean from Flim Flam? J.J. McCarthy weighs 80 pounds. Ant hits every Popeyes in town. KOC's BMI still coming down. Wolves in 2026. I like it.
It's a good run.
It's a good run. But is that just a bit on McCarthy? Are we worried about is he too thin? I thought somebody else said he was too bloated. I'm all confused on JJ. Or is he just right?
We'll find out a week from Thursday.
I guess we will.
I know you were worried about his weight during the season.
Very much so.
But I thought somebody said that he had beefed up.
He took care of it?
In the
but has he beefed up too much? That's what I'm worried about now. It's gone the other extreme.
Well, he's got 6-7 weeks to get ready.
Okay.
If that's true.
All right.
So I'm setting myself up here as the producer. I'm supposed to be able to find these things. But I swear I can't find this. Commissioner Rob Manfred spoke to the baseball writers. I guess
you saw it
today. I saw it, but I can't find. I didn't see it. I'm reading about it. I wanted to get the audio, is my point, and I couldn't find any audio anywhere or video anywhere, and that stuns me. That he would have a Q&A with baseball writers at the All-Star game, and it's not on MLB.com, it's not on MLB Network, it's not on ESPN. Even like reporters sometimes will just throw up their iPhones.
Yes.
Because I wanted to hear this. But so I'll just read from Phil Miller's story, who's in Atlanta, covering the All-Star game for the Star Tribune. More than 9 months have passed since the Pohlad family announced its intention to explore a sale. But the delay in finding a buyer, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred said on Tuesday, does not mean there are no bidders willing to meet the Pohlad's price. In fact, the commissioner said, quote, I can tell you with a lot of confidence there will be a transaction there, and it will be consistent with the kind of pricing that has taken place, end quote. You mentioned yesterday the Tampa Bay Rays sale, $1.7 billion.
And they have state ballpark issues.
They do.
Yeah. So that would seem to indicate you should at least get that, if not more. We got a nice ballpark, don't we?
Yeah.
Of course, we got the debt.
We do. Another quote from Manfred. I know some things you don't know.
I would hope so. He's commissioner.
There will be a transaction there. We just need to be patient while they work. Now, one of the theories, and this might be the money quote, was that Justin Ishbia was the leader in the clubhouse. They were very down the road with that, and then he backed out. He's going to now buy the White Sox eventually. And here's the quote on maybe that's scaring away some other people. This is a small business, right? All those bankers out there ain't that many of them, and they all talk to each other. When it becomes clear that you have a leader in the clubhouse, everybody else kind of backs away, right? Because they kind of get a feel for the price, and unless they're prepared to top it, they're going to move on and do something else. So that's a big part of the delay in Minnesota.
I don't understand
It's associated with the leader in the clubhouse making the decision to do something else. Your thoughts, Dan?
I that last part is what I found curious about. Well, then, other people back away and they move on. Move on to what? If you're in the business of trying to own a baseball team, you don't have that many options, right? So if in fact there are other people who are, sniffing and really close, if the guy who was leading in the clubhouse is gone, why would it be that difficult or that challenging for that person to reemerge. I guess I don't. I'll take him at his word that presumably he knows something and that something is afoot. Because he certainly is going to look bad if there isn't, given how strong he came on today. He basically made it sound like we absolutely have something brewing. So I guess at this point, I mean, to use his words, we just need to be patient while they work. The they obviously being, I assume, the owners, the old owners and the new owners, and trying to put the thing together. So this commissioner is not really very good at reassuring anybody on anything, but my assumption is he's got some idea that there's something maybe possible here soon. On the basis of how strongly he seemed to word those comments, even though we didn't hear them, we've read them.
So I guess be reassured. That's what we're going with.
I guess to an extent.
Lynx won last night. They beat the Sky after losing to the Sky over the weekend. They are now a league best 19-4. 19-4. They're 3 games ahead of the Phoenix Mercury, who coincidentally are their next opponent right here at the House of Pain tomorrow at noon. A game you can hear on the Lynx channel of your iHeartRadio app, a noon start. Getting a lot of kids to go to the ballpark tomorrow against the second-place Phoenix Mercury. Kayla McBride was named an All-Star today. She's an injury replacement, so the Lynx will now have 3 All-Stars.
That should make Cheryl Reeve very happy.
This weekend.
Very bothered by that.
And the other news, kind of to dovetail what you talked about earlier in the show today, WNBA All-Star Game related, is this weekend in Indianapolis. Where else? It's got to be there. Should be there in perpetuity, men and women. Caitlin Clark has committed to the 3-point shooting contest.
Whoa.
Not only is she captain of one of the teams, having fired Cheryl Reeve and traded her to Nafisa's team, she will also take part in the 3-point shooting contest, which I'm imagining everybody associated with the league, except the actual players, are excited about. That Caitlin Clark will help prop up the 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah, the players will be annoyed. Say, my God, can't she let anybody else have a little bit of a limelight, for God's sake? Does it always have to be about her? By the way, was that image of a French 17-year-old girls basketball player dunking AI or real?
I didn't see that.
I retweeted it yesterday. I think the sources were legit. And it was on a fast break. I don't know what kind of tournament it was in, but she stole the ball near midcourt, moved like a ballet dancer, despite, I'm assuming, being pretty tall, and dunked it. Like a legitimate dunk took place. I'm surprised there maybe I'm answering my own question. Maybe there isn't more about it because it was AI generated. I don't know. Anybody who knows anything about that, let me know. I believe she's 17 years old and was playing for a French national team, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a hell of a play. It was impressive because it seemed as if it came with very little effort. It wasn't even as if she seemed to be extending in a way where you just kind of got it up there. It was effortless. I mean, it'd be a hell of a story if she's going to become the female superstar to bookend with Wembanyama, right?
That would be big.
Not to mention our guy. I don't want to leave him out.
I was going to say,
I know you're going to have your feelings hurt.
I mean, but French basketball is taking off. It's crazy. It's taken off.
Did you see the Wolves update, Summer League?
I was about to get to, you mean the score, or is there another update that I missed?
According to Charlie Walton, we're down 3, or at the end of the third, we're up 3 on the Pistons.
Yep.
Your guy, Shannon, 17 points, 4 boards, 6 turnovers. And Dilly, 14 points on 6 for 13 from the floor.
He's now 7 of 15 from the floor.
Dilly?
Yep, he's got 16 points.
What's the assists and turnovers? That's all we care about with him.
Well, turnovers, he's got 4. Yeah. Assists, he has 3. But he also has 6 fouls, so he must be out of the game.
Oh. Can you foul out of a Summer League game? I can't remember.
I would think he probably can. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we are up 7 right now, 68-61, with 7:02 to go. 7:02 in, 7:02, 7:02
we still
in the
have a chance
quarter.
to win the cup. What is the name of the cup? Is it a cup?
Well, I assume isn't it like the NBA 2K26 NBA Summer League?
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
But, yeah, we are up by 7 right now. 7 points with 7:08 to go. And, yeah, it looks like Dilly, he's not out there. Oh, we just got beat on the backdoor pass. But you know who broke it up?
Berenger, who else?
It was an easy...
What's the Berenger wingspan? 8 feet?
At least.
Yeah, gotta be. Maybe 9.
At least. I should probably give you his numbers because that's all that people care about. Where did I go here? And I know you're desperate about it.
Definitely.
1 of 3 from the floor. He's got 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, a turnover, and I guess he just picked up his 5th foul, so he didn't... I glamorized that. I thought he broke up the alley-oop pass, but he ended up fouling the piston.
Ooh.
And he might have just picked up 6 foul. He did. Yeah, he just picked up his 6th foul, helping on one player and then tried to recover back for a kind of a in-the-lane pass and tried to block the shot, picked up his 6th foul, so he will join Dilly on the bench as the Wolves try to close their 3rd Summer League game in Vegas today against the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, somebody's claiming you get 10 fouls in Summer League, and I think that might be true. I think they basically don't want you to foul out.
Well, that's good.
It's Summer League.
That makes sense because he's staying in the game.
Staying in, there it is. That would explain it.
He's in there. 10 fouls?
10 fouls. Seems like you might develop some bad habits there.
Yeah.
Because in regular league play, I think 6 remains the limit.
It's still 6. Karl Anthony Towns knows it well.
Yeah, that's...
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is our national cash contest. Final keyword of the evening is grand. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword grand.
Maybe a mini news on the march when we come back. There's several, I think, stories worthy of attention. And then we prepare for some Vikings conversation with Ben Goessling at the bottom of the hour.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar. Your favorite clean, functional, delicious nutrition brand is raising the bar with a little help from Thomas Keller, Michelin star chef of the French Laundry. IQ Bar and Thomas Keller have teamed up to create a salted caramel chip protein bar and yuzu mango hydration mix. With toasted macadamia nuts, rich caramel flavor, and brain-boosting nutrients, this bar is like having a Michelin star meal in your pocket. Pair it with the taste bud tingling yuzu mango IQ Mix hydration mix, packed with magnesium and adaptogens to improve clarity and mood. With Keller's culinary excellence and IQ Bar's commitment to great taste and clean ingredients, this limited edition collaboration is simply mwah. And the best part is that 10% of sales go directly to Chef Keller's nonprofit, Mentor, that supports aspiring young chefs. Great taste, great nutrition, great mission. Go to IQBar.com today and enter promo code Keller20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. That's IQBAR.com, promo code Keller20.
Comedian Nate Bargatze bringing 2 nights of laughs to XL Energy Center. We can still call it that for a little bit. Don't miss out on the hilarity. He takes the stage Saturday, July 26th and Sunday, July 27th with the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Limited tickets are still available, especially for Sunday. Get all the details now at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
48 personal fouls. Last I checked, between the Timberwolves and the Pistons.
They're getting after
and that
it,
was
I
with
will
4
say.
minutes to go in the game. Berenger's up to 7 personals. Dillingham has 6. They lead the Wolves in that category. Detroit's got 3 starters with 5 fouls each. Sounds like a lot of fouls. That's I'm not sure that would make for the most entertaining of basketball. So there you have it. But the Wolves seem to be about to pull away a little bit. Last I checked, up 8 points with under 4 minutes to go in the game.
News on the march.
How about a kind of an encouraging story and part of the news on the march today. Here's your headline. America has pulled off the impossible. It actually made getting a passport simple.
Really?
Washington isn't known for tech innovation. So how did a team of bureaucrats put their stamp on a process that had not changed in 50 years? Ben Cohen wrote this piece, business section of the Wall Street Journal, and he writes basically the process to get an American passport has been more or less the same for half a century. You fill out a paper form, you attach a check or money order, you get your photos printed, hope they don't get rejected, then you schlep it all to the post office, mail back the old passport, and wait too long for a new one. But he says that this team of bureaucrats has come up with a revamped online system that makes it about as simple as buying a plane ticket or booking your hotel.
Love to hear that.
Now, you can submit the application on your computer, you can upload a photo from your phone, and you can pay with your credit card. No paper at any point in the process is any longer necessary. To get a vital document that will accompany you around the world, you don't even have to leave your kitchen table. And he notes that the system has been open to the public for less than a year, but it is already handling nearly half of all U.S. passport renewals, according to the State Department. And as he says, the real radical thing is people are raving about it. Government surveys, online passport renewal gets positive reviews from 94% of respondents. How often, anything to do with the government, do you get that kind of approval rate? I bring it up mainly because to remind people who may not even know that this new system is in place, because I think a lot of people do get intimidated. They go, oh, God, I don't want to think about it. The whole process, they fill out paperwork, got to find the photo.
Got to go to like a federal building.
Yeah, exactly.
That's intimidating.
So it turns out now, according to this story, that it's much, much easier than it once was. He mentions that once I confirmed that I met the eligibility criteria, the whole application took 15 minutes from start to finish. At the end, I got an email warning that the routine processing time was 4 to 6 weeks, but my new passport arrived in less than 2.
That's great.
The experience was so weirdly efficient and unexpectedly refreshing that I had to find the people responsible to find out how they did it. You can read more via the Wall Street Journal. So something encouraging from a bureaucratic standpoint. And if you have been intimidated putting this off because, it's about to expire, whatever the case may be, it sounds like you can get all this stuff done. And even if it has expired, you can get this done pretty easily, a much simpler process than it apparently once was.
We talked about that when you were getting your passports organized, I think, for Dublin, for Ireland. You knew there had to be a better way when your two options historically have been do everything right there, and you'll probably get it in like 6 months. Or if you need it by this afternoon, we can do that for you too.
Right, yes.
Which never made any sense to me.
That's true.
Like if you're in an emergency or, hey, you get your travel itinerary, if you've got a flight in the next 24 hours or travel plans, we can get you your passport by lunch or by Labor Day. You had to know there was a middle ground somewhere that could have been found if people just took the time to figure it out.
They apparently found it.
That's great.
I did it. I did go to, I think I went to an office in Carver County because it tends to be less busy. And it was great. I mean, they were very helpful, but it was not, it was fairly seamless. And I did do the expedited because I was a little bit worried.
Yep.
I had, when you have a trip in mind.
For sure.
I don't even know that I would have needed it, but this sounds like this is even better.
It's great.
Especially for people who know how to do stuff online. Which may not be all old people, but young people for sure.
If you're going to London or Dublin to watch the Vikings, there you go.
Item number 2. Did you see this nugget? The president has privately encouraged Ukraine to step up deep strikes on Russian territory, even asking Zelensky whether he could strike Moscow if the U.S. provided long-range weapons. That's according to one media outlet. What makes this worth a minute or two, I think, is, you feel like there's these sort of conflicting messages that he sent, right? And I'm sure we'll get into this with Kessler tomorrow, because the big proclamation Monday, everybody was waiting. He's going to have a big thing to say about Russia on Monday. His rhetoric had been a lot tougher, finally, on Putin, right? Seeming to indicate maybe a sea change. But then the big announcement Monday was, well, if things don't change, we're going to put some really, 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 really tough tariffs on Russia in, was it 50 days? That seemed awfully passive-aggressive, like that's going to scare anybody, including Putin, 50 days? But then this report seemed to conflict with that and make it sound as if there's a more aggressiveness in his stance. So who knows where it's going in terms of what our policy is regarding Putin, the Ukrainians, I should say, and the Russians. Last item is very grim, but worthy of a minute or two as well. Did you see that the individual who, of course, has been charged with the murders of Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, did a jailhouse interview with the New York Post?
I did not. No.
It's not getting as much attention locally as I thought it would, although this is a Star Tribune story that lays it out. And it sounds like there have been several conversations between the alleged perpetrator of the crimes, Belter is his name, right? That's how you pronounce it?
Yep.
The O is silent?
Vance.
He's claiming, according to the Post interview, that the killings had nothing to do with his views on abortion or President Trump. You are fishing, and I can't talk about my case. I'll say it didn't involve either the Trump stuff or pro-life. I should add, he apparently wrote this to the Post. So it's that kind of interview. I don't know if it's actually where they're speaking as much as he's responding. He's being given, I guess, the chance to respond to questions. I am pro-life personally, but it wasn't those, he wrote to the Post, using the jail's internal messaging system. I will just say there's a lot of information that will come out in the future that people will look at and judge for themselves. It goes back 24 months before the 13th, if the G-O-V, ever lets it get out. So he goes on later. See if I can, here's the other part. Can I ask what you heard as an outside person about the note that the alleged person, I'll say alleged person, left in that car? Did you hear anything about that? This is back to the Post. In one of the video, I guess this is a video call in this case, certain details of that letter were leaked out that probably painted one kind of a picture, but a lot more important details that were in the letter were not leaked out. He did not expand on those details, but the Star Tribune reports, the two sources familiar with the contents of the letter, told the newspaper last month that what he might be referring to there is that Belter wrote, and I think we talked about this, that Governor Walz instructed him to kill Amy Klobuchar so that Walz could run for the U.S. Senate. Belter also alleges he'd been trained by the U.S. military off the books, mentions of other politicians, et cetera, et cetera. So if that is indeed what one of his examples of, well, wait till this other stuff gets out, then there's nothing to see here. Obviously, this is a deranged individual, disturbed individual who's making things up as they go along, unless you and I have missed any significant evidence developed by authorities that the governor of the state ordered that the senior U.S. senator from the state of Minnesota be assassinated. That's the preposterous nature of this. But he did apparently do some form of interview or another, and that's the other item I wanted to get to in this truncated edition of News on the March. There was one. Let me check one other quick thing regarding this story before we wrap things up. As of today, Belter faces expanded federal charges in obviously the shootings. He's now been formally indicted on 6 federal crimes, including stalking and murder for the killing of Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, and the shooting of John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. And there was a press conference, Joe Thompson, today, that Belter did not leave Was this another? Oh, no, I guess this might have been the original press conference, but there is an added, they've expanded the federal charges in the shootings as well. All right, let's do this. Let's make this the bottom of the hour break, and we'll get to maybe some football conversation with Ben Goessling. He is coming up next.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar. Your favorite clean, functional, delicious nutrition brand is raising the bar with a little help from Thomas Keller, Michelin star chef of the French Laundry. IQ Bar and Thomas Keller have teamed up to create a salted caramel chip protein bar and yuzu mango hydration mix. With toasted macadamia nuts, rich caramel flavor, and brain-boosting nutrients, this bar is like having a Michelin star meal in your pocket. Pair it with the taste bud tingling yuzu mango IQ Mix hydration mix, packed with magnesium and adaptogens to improve clarity and mood. With Keller's culinary excellence and IQ Bar's commitment to great taste and clean ingredients, this limited edition collaboration is simply mwah. And the best part is that 10% of sales go directly to Chef Keller's nonprofit, Mentor, that supports aspiring young chefs. Great taste, great nutrition, great mission. Go to IQBar.com today and enter promo code Keller20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. That's IQBAR.com, promo code Keller20.
Straight here in the Fan. Before we get to Ben Goessling, a couple more quick items to add on to regarding the new information surrounding Belter. Hope Hoffman, the daughter of the Hoffmans, released a statement today because there's some among the new indictments. Belter is now facing a new firearms charge for the attempting shooting of Hope Hoffman. She laid out a statement there, and there was a presser earlier today with some interesting details, including from acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson, who joined us the original day. He had on his original press conference dealing with this breaking story at the time, and there is the release of the quote-unquote confession letter from the accused here that has some astonishing things in it as well. So we'll try to maybe revisit that somewhere close to the top of the hour. Back in the toy department, Vikings training camp now is quite literally right around the corner. Ben Goessling usually joins us on Friday, but we thought we'd kind of move some people around because Seifert had some other duties with his ESPN folks today, and we wanted to catch up with guests, get a good football presence in today. And so Mr. Goessling joins us via the Connecticut Water Systems Hotline, brought to you by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Do you feel yet fully refreshed? I mean, are you ready to hit training camp running, or do you feel like, my God, it's all coming at me too soon? It's all kind of running together.
Well, probably a little of both. I mean, the summer always goes quick, but I was watching quarterback the last couple of days here. I was like, yeah, it's getting to be time. You kind of get the tingles going again. I'm kind of excited for this one. It'll be a fun year to cover. Obviously, plenty to talk about, plenty to write about. No training camp is probably more ripe with intrigue than one with a quarterback that everybody wants to know how he's looking. So yeah, as we get closer to it, I'm just about ready to go here. So it'll be fun when we get back out there next week.
From the Vikings perspective, Vikings fans perspective, maybe even the organization's perspective, What's the most interesting stuff you've gotten out of the Cousins comments via the new season of quarterback?
Well, a lot of the stuff he had to say about if I would have known the way things were going to work here, I might have made a different decision in Minnesota. It was interesting to hear him say it out loud. I'd heard some of those whispers behind the scenes in terms of he didn't really want to leave here, and a lot of it was because the Vikings were pretty direct with him, as I understand it, in terms of saying, we are probably going to draft your successor.
Yes.
And that was very much the plan. I don't think they hid that from him, and I think the Cousins camp, I know, appreciated that level of candor, but the Vikings probably also felt like, well, if we would have, misled him or at least played our cards closer to the chest, you can, frame that however you want. If we would have been less direct with him, maybe he would have stayed. And in the end, would that have been a good thing or not? I think as it worked out with Sam Darnold, obviously, probably was as good or better than they were going to get from Cousins anyway. So maybe it didn't really hurt them at all. But yeah, I think it was interesting to hear that from his perspective because it was so much about trying to find a place where he felt like he could be, still be somebody's number one, could still be the apple of somebody's eye in a way that would let him finish his career without having to look over his shoulder. And he signed a contract that would have seemed like it was going to be that type of a deal. But then the Falcons obviously do what they did. And then, Michael Penix now is the guy there. So it is going to be very interesting to see if that takes a turn at all in the next couple of months here. And I think there have been every indication from the Cousins camp that if something came along to make a trade, they'd be open to it. He'd have to waive that no trade clause, but it's a fascinating turn of events because he signs that contract, obviously has been in the NFL Business Hall of Fame for a long time, but the way he played, I think wasn't going to buy him that much more security. And as it turns out, that home opener the Vikings have week 2 on Sunday night could be Kirk Cousins sitting on the sideline watching both of the quarterbacks that were drafted to replace him, one in Minnesota, one in Atlanta.
That's a good point. It's fairly disingenuous, is it not, for there to be any suggestion on his part? And I don't even know if you could say he suggested this, that he might have reconsidered if he knew what Atlanta was up to, because as long as Atlanta was going to offer that deal that no one else, as far as I know, is offering, even if they sat him down that day and said, if Michael Penix is available, we just want you to know we're going to take him, he's still going to take the deal. He's Kirk Cousins, right? I mean, that's not going to change anything.
No, I don't think it would have in the end. I mean, if you line those two situations up side by side, and he said, well, I know both of these teams are going to try everything they can to take a quarterback in the top 10, top 11 picks, and I'm looking at these two deals next to each other. I mean, I can't imagine he wouldn't have taken the deal he got, because I think he felt like the deal he got was one that would preclude him from having competition. But even if it didn't, even if he had known that, he still is laughing all the way to the bank because he gets the guaranteed money. He gets the no trade clause. He can't be shipped off to wherever the Falcons decide they want to send him if Michael Penix is ready to go. So yeah, if there was a situation where he had known it all up front and you're looking at those two situations side by side, I can't imagine, knowing the approach he's taken to his contracts, knowing the degree to which his agent, Mike McCartney, has maximized his worth, I just have a really hard time believing that he would have taken less money to stay in Minnesota, especially with the guarantees being what they were. I think, when he said the stuff about it's what the dollars represent, I mean, everybody understood that as this is about the guaranteed money, and he got every sort of representation of guaranteed money that he could have wanted from that deal in Atlanta. And it would be hard to imagine him turning that down, even if he had, kind of felt like the two situations were apples to apples.
We are chatting with Ben Goessling, giving us some bonus Vikings time with now training. When do we start reporting to TCO?
It'll be early next week. I think the first time we hear from the Brain Trust is Tuesday, and I think players pull in, early first couple of days of next week, and we'll be on the practice field by the acclimation period. I think starts Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere in there.
All right, so we've kind of put the. Is anything else from the? It's already done, right? It's to bed. You can watch as many quarterback episodes as you want. I think already. Anything else that tickled your fancy that you have found interesting this time around?
Well, it's always interesting to see with these things. I mean, they've started to feel a little bit formulaic to me. I mean, in terms of some of the episodes, I'm in the one right now. I'm only about halfway through it. The one where they start talking about all the plays and all the different things they have to do, and they had an episode like that in the first year of it too, where Cousins was with the Vikings. That you learned a lot from it in terms of play names and play design and all of those kinds of things. So there's a little bit of this stuff that feels a little repetitive to me, and I think it's still really interesting to get all of the access that they get. But on the Cousins front, the frustration he had with still learning that offense, I thought was kind of interesting to watch because it's a similar offense to what's in Minnesota, but he still seemed like all of the motions and all of the shifts and things that are in that offense that Atlanta runs, even though the Vikings do a lot of those same things, he seemed like he was, kind of bucking against that to some degree. So I think all of that stuff, just to see how much of an adjustment there was pretty fascinating to watch because he had, as we go back to the Viking situation, he had everything he could have wanted in terms of familiarity with the offense, relationship with the head coach, weapons, facilities, all of that stuff. And then when you decide, no, I'm going to make this change because the money's better, that is part of what you sign up for. So to see that level of candor in things, I think was interesting just in some of the audio they picked up where,
right.
the fumble early on where he didn't signal the motion in time. And some of those things I thought was just interesting to get a real-time look at how clunky those first couple of games were for him.
So give us I guess right now, the biggest topic of conversation, this story's been ongoing for quite some time, but maybe now we're going to get actually some closure on it, is the jury trial involving Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison. This has to do with the 2024 DUI citation. Where does this stand? What do we know?
Well, it's in trial this week. It's finally going to trial, and I think they had an early kind of court date today, and I think they have another one scheduled for Thursday morning. It's still a pre-trial hearing, so a lot of, I think setting up what the case is going to look like, picking a jury, all of those things have to happen at the beginning of all of this. And I would think we'll get a solution to it relatively soon. I mean, I think a lot of that stuff, I try to remember how long that took in the pretrial process. I was on a jury. I had jury duty a couple of years ago, and it seems like that it takes a couple of days to get everybody seated and go through all of the questioning all the jurors to see who's got, prior knowledge of the case, all that kind of stuff. So once you get through that, though, I wouldn't think the trial would be a terribly long proceeding. I would imagine you're talking about a day, maybe a couple of days at the most. So once that gets going, I would think we'll have a resolution to this fairly quickly. And if there is a guilty verdict or he pleads guilty, then the NFL probably comes in and does its piece of things, which I would think could be a 3-game suspension. I mean, that's kind of been the way they go about it with first-time offenders of the alcohol policy. So, that's probably the order of operations here is the case, figure out where that goes, and then the NFL, if there is legal punishment or a guilty verdict or a guilty plea of some type that comes out of this, then the NFL comes in and does its disciplinary piece of things. And I would expect if all of that goes according to the way they've done it, a guilty plea probably means a 3-game suspension at the beginning of the season, which means he's back, I think, for that game in Ireland at the end of September, if it goes that way.
And do you refresh my memory on this? Does the NFL, for the players, does a player have a right to appeal, and does that draw this out even longer, or do sometimes players just take the medicine and just move on?
Yeah, I mean, players can appeal these, so that could drag it out. I mean, the NFL, I think, typically schedule those appeals hearings relatively quickly. I mean, Addison, I think, has said, I'll accept whatever comes with it if there is punishment that comes his way. So, whether that means he'll appeal it or not, I don't know that we can take that as an indication that he won't. But, yeah, he does have that right to do it, and I think he could certainly exercise that option if he decides to do it. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, I mean, say he is convicted of it and he's found guilty of the misdemeanor, you may just say, let's get this over with. Let's, kind of have the early part of the season done and not have to worry about this coming in somewhere later on. I mean, I would imagine you say, let's just rip the Band-Aid and be done with it, but he would have that right to appeal if he so chose to do it.
And for the record, in the court case itself, he has pleaded not guilty, correct?
Correct, yes.
And have we gotten anything to this point from his attorney in terms of what the defense was going to be? Or what the approach was going to be?
No, not really. I mean, we haven't heard a lot of details about why they have pleaded not guilty. I mean, I don't know that we ever saw a BAC number come out of this. So
yeah, right.
It could be something where they say, hey, the terms on which they made the arrest were not concrete enough to make this a something that a jury would convict over. I mean, maybe that gets negotiated down somewhere in the process here. I would imagine if you're going to do that, though, you probably have already gone through that process. The fact that this is going to a jury trial, I assume he's trying to say, no, I think I can beat this thing and get off. So I don't know exactly how he's going to structure his defense. We haven't really heard from his lawyer on that front. But, yeah, the fact that he said, I'm going to try to fight this thing, I mean, he may feel like there's a way in which he can beat this case in court and get a jury to acquit him. And if that happens, then you're probably off scot-free in terms of the NFL, because if he's acquitted of it in court, I don't think the NFL is going to come in and then say, well, yeah, but we're going to suspend you too, even though you weren't charged or convicted of anything in a court case. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see then over the next few days how that goes, because, yeah, if he feels like he can beat it in court, it's going to be something that may not affect him in the NFL's eyes, and then that changes things quite a bit for the Vikings at the beginning of the season.
Off the beaten track, I don't believe I hallucinated this. I thought I read a note indicating that Deion Sanders had expressed a desire to add several people to his coaching staff, including Mike Zimmer. Did you read that? Are you aware of that? And has that gone anywhere?
I don't know that I saw that note. I know there's been discussions between him and Zim in the past.
Yes.
I think Zim has indicated he's retired.
He's done. That's what I thought. Yeah.
In the NFL.
Right.
It would be a little hard for me to believe that he's going to pick up and, leave the ranch down in Kentucky and go out to Colorado to coach on Deion's staff. But, Deion may be persuasive enough to have a certain role for him. And maybe it's some kind of a consultant thing where, hey, let me send you film, and what do you think we need to do to deal with this opponent? I mean, there could be something like that, but it would be a little hard for me to believe that Zim is going to jump back in that kind of a setting, unless he feels like, hey, the chance to work with Coach Prime is too much to pass up. I would be a little surprised if it becomes that kind of a commitment from him, though.
Appreciate the bonus time today. We will be in touch soon, because it's right upon us now.
It is, yeah. We'll be out there just about every day next week, and I don't know when you guys are making your debut at the Perch, but I think it's that far away.
It's the Thursday. It's a week from this coming Thursday, correct? Yeah, I think that's our day. That's what it looks like right now.
Okay.
So,
well, yeah, we're talking a matter of hours now.
It's crazy.
So we will see you on the Perch here relatively soon, and then be talking quite a bit from there on out. Should be fun to get back at it.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Ben Goessling, Star Tribune and StarTribune.com. While we were talking about the Cousins issue, this text came in. This is via 952. It's hard for me to understand how people criticize Kirk C. for seeking and accepting obscenely lucrative contracts. The NFL has money to burn. Why wouldn't anyone take advantage of the ridiculous state of sports mania? I don't think people begrudge him how effectively he has taken full advantage of the financial opportunities. I think, though, if you're not naive, you understand that what comes along with that is an expectation that somewhere along the road, somewhere along the line, that you prove to be almost as good at playing the position. And we define almost as good at playing the position in the NFL as making playoff runs, if not actually getting the ring and hoisting the trophy. And I think in Cousins' case, also some of the pushback is some of his rhetoric, right?
Like, well, that's it. Don't pretend to be anything that you're not, something that you're not. Exactly. If this is what you're going to be.
Exactly. And that's, I think people just they've kind of rolled their eyes. You can do it, and that's why I think, as I said before, I don't doubt that it gave him pause that a team willing to give him that kind of money then turned around and drafted a quarterback that high. To me, that didn't make any sense. But it is, I think, completely fraudulent and disingenuous to think that he's trying to send out any message. Well, if I had known that, who knows how this might have gone. Come on, man. He's Kirk Cousins. And he has done a great job of playing this out financially the way he has. And that means no matter what he did or didn't know about what other intentions the Falcons had at the position, he's going to take the money. No one else was coming close to, and I'm not even blaming him for it. But I'm saying to pretend that, boy, really might have given him pause. There's no pause. There's never been pause for him. He is financially motivated. He's taken full advantage of it. But you have to understand in this league, when you play that position, if you're that good at taking the money, every once in a while, people are going to furrow their brow and go, how was he actually at the position? Well, he's good. But, God, it just never seemed to really... He never really seemed to get all that close to the promised land, right? How many playoff games has he won?
He won one playoff game.
He won one. That was was that the New Orleans game?
Yeah. Here. I don't know if he won one before in Washington.
That's
I can't
true.
remember.
That's he may have.
But here he won the one, I believe.
And obviously never got close to a Super Bowl. So that's what it is. I don't think it's also the old, it's not what the contract. What was the famous quote?
It's not about the dollars.
It's what the dollars represent. Yeah, it's just he got a little too precious with the words and got tripped up on his own word salad a little bit and made it sound like this was the only place he ever wanted to be, and then it's now Atlanta's the only place, and Atlanta feels like home, and it people kind of notice that stuff after a while. So in terms of I've said it before. I'm not sure if you're doing a Mount Rushmore of athletes when it comes to the idea of maximizing their position financially, I think Cousins is in the conversation on the Mount Rushmore, don't you? He may not be 4, he might be 5 or 6, but he's there. He's under consideration. I'm guessing, given how much money he's made.
Does Bobby Bonilla have like the Washington spot? The guy who's still getting $1 million every July?
Right. Yes. Is he? He's still not done. You're right.
Right? He's still got probably a decade.
Yeah.
So he's got, now it's not the total money, but to be paid $1 million for doing nothing for that long every year is a good gig. And I think that's the number. Yeah, he's got to be up there pretty well. Bradley Beal's a good one.
Bradley Beal's a good one, although Johnny wants him here.
At $5 million, yeah, I would do it.
I guess I would. I guess you'd have to at $5 million. I want to talk about it, though, because I get it. Him at $5 million is very different than him at 52. But I still worry about the player you're getting. I really do. Even though, obviously, he'd fill a need we talked about because he can play some guard. He can handle the ball a little bit, too. But there's a voice in the back of my mind whispering, I hope the Wolves don't have to be presented with this predicament. Because there's something that kind of bothers me about what he might represent. If he's just bad karma at this point in terms of winning.
Yeah,
I'm interested in winning at this point more than pretty much.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar. Your favorite clean, functional, delicious nutrition brand is raising the bar with a little help from Thomas Keller, Michelin star chef of the French Laundry. IQ Bar and Thomas Keller have teamed up to create a salted caramel chip protein bar and yuzu mango hydration mix. With toasted macadamia nuts, rich caramel flavor, and brain-boosting nutrients, this bar is like having a Michelin star meal in your pocket. Pair it with the taste bud tingling yuzu mango IQ Mix hydration mix, packed with magnesium and adaptogens to improve clarity and mood. With Keller's culinary excellence and IQ Bar's commitment to great taste and clean ingredients, this limited edition collaboration is simply mwah. And the best part is that 10% of sales go directly to Chef Keller's nonprofit, Mentor, that supports aspiring young chefs. Great taste, great nutrition, great mission. Go to iqbar.com today and enter promo code KELLER20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. That's iqbar.com, promo code KELLER20.
Anything.
Mall of America's mystery cards are back, and we're bringing them to you all summer long. You can get them at KFAN events through the summer, wherever you see our street team. Then make sure to redeem them at Mall of America for fun prizes and big discounts. Check out our full list of events at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
We'll give you a few more details about some developments in the Belter case here in a minute. It's been a very active afternoon in that regard. But I wanted to first mention an update on a subject that we were exploring last week regarding the possibility of any discussion on a salary cap in Major League Baseball to deal with really not just, to me, the disparities, but everybody wants to talk about the cap at the top end. More important for me, baseball needs a bottom end, right? Like a salary minimum, which is now utterly and completely abused by a number of teams. Now, the Twins aren't one of those right now, but there are plenty of teams in that classification. And actually, your guy, Mike Florio, has gotten in on the subject via ProFootballTalk.com. Apparently, the MLB Players Association Executive Director Tony Clark said yesterday that a salary cap would take baseball, quote, backward. Quote, they obviously have their interests, and those interests aren't much different from the interests they've had for the last 3, 4, 5 decades at this point. Whereas the game is in a great place. The game appears to be growing and moving in the right direction with more attendance than we've had in a long time, and more people are watching and streaming the games than we've ever had before. Although the sad reality, which one would assume he knows, is Major League Baseball hasn't figured out a way to maximize financially in that regard, certainly as it pertains to the important regional network for many towns, markets, including obviously Minnesota, Minneapolis, and St. Paul. Florio notes that the numbers would be higher if there was real competitive balance. Instead, the teams that spend money stay good, and the teams that don't spend money are the Pittsburgh Pirates, which sounds about right. So I'm not surprised to hear that Clark is going down this particular road. That's why I said last week, this is the most powerful sports union in the world, or certainly in the country, or North America. Therefore, you would probably be talking about a major stoppage, a work stoppage this time, because it would be such a dramatic and radical change about the way baseball teams go about their business, or the leagues go about their business. But I still maintain that if you're not concerning yourself with, the players getting everything they want or who's going to get what, and you say, what as a fan or a custodian of the game would say is best for the game, I don't think there's any question. Some form of cap, maybe creative form of cap, is the answer, because how many stories have we seen written by ball guys the last 10 years having to do with the floor, right? Yeah. That's the issue. It's not just the cap. It's the idea of incentivizing, as Florio puts it, minimum spending, so that you don't have these teams who are literally at just laughable payroll numbers, and they just don't care. Where you go, well, no, if you're going to play in this game, or you want to be a part of this association or this league, there are limits to you. You cannot go under this particular number, which I think is logical and is healthier for the game by far. Would it hurt players? Who gets hurt? 10% of the game's players make 72% of the money.
That's crazy.
You could make the argument that then if you're a member of the union and you're not in that 10%, you go, wait a minute. I love that, we got $500 million deals for the people at the top end, but come on.
$750 for Soto.
What are the limits here? Yeah, exactly it. So, wanted to revisit that at least momentarily. Now, there's as I understand it, but I cannot find the transcript yet, but the letter that Belter wrote, he wrote a letter to Kash Patel, and that letter, I believe, has now been released. And you can actually see it in written form, but it's very hard to read. What I can read to this point, and if we get a transcript before we're done, we'll try to get more specific on it. But it pretty much confirms what we already knew about the reporting regarding the letter. The difference now is that it's being released in the name of transparency. And the big item that it confirms is that Belter is alleging that he was approached about a project that Governor Walz was involved in, and that Walz wanted me to kill Amy Klobuchar, quote unquote. And then there are more details about it from there, going from there. But it confirms what we kind of already knew about that aspect of the case. And then there's more. It sort of goes on from there as well. He makes a point of saying that he had an opportunity, if he'd wanted to leave, quote, a pile of cops dead, but I chose not to protect and not hurt law enforcement. You can ask them, because I support the police and don't want to see them hurt. So it's funny because not funny. There's nothing funny about any of this, but it's interesting in that I got a couple texts before saying, well, how can you be so dismissive of the central allegation? And I said, well, because we've had presumably authorities with the opportunity to investigate this case and those allegations. And leaving aside also some of the ranting nature and the rambling nature of what he laid out, I think most reasonable people who aren't poisoned by the Sharks and Jets aspect of this thing, and that's asking a lot, I know in 2025, would say, I'm going to need to see some pretty significant evidence of this allegation being workable and being that in fact there may be some validity to it. Is that okay? Am I allowed to go that far?
I think you are. I would say a phrase that gets thrown at me a lot is, why don't you think critically?
Yeah.
I would say maybe let's think critically about this for a minute and maybe wait it out before we just go, well, I don't know. He says this is true. I would say let's think critically about it.
Yeah, well, and again, we've had investigators since, how long ago did this take place? Has it been
maybe a month?
A month or so?
Yeah.
Whatever it's been, they've had access to all of this stuff. So, look, I get how, it's what we said. There was a lot of talk about lowering rhetoric, and we got to, sort of check ourselves to a certain extent. But when you see the number of people just responding to the more detail regarding the allegations, you'll know what I'm talking about. Those are individuals who despise the governor. And that's your right. I'm not here to always defend the governor. In fact, I don't always defend the governor. But when I'm told, well, you got to have an open mind, I can't help but crack up I say, do you realize what you're saying? An open mind? Because if you do realize what you're saying, it might apply to you too. The notion that, well, I don't know, this sounds, I don't know, man, this sounds, I don't like that guy. Something about him I've never trusted. That's an open mind? In all honesty, that you think, without any evidence being brought forward to this point by anybody, officially or unofficially, that it seems logical to you that it may well be that what he alleges is exactly why he did what he did, that he was told to do it. Okay. God bless you. And I hope you have a happy life. As you know, we have no problem, trying to follow the story in this case, but there has to be evidence to indicate, well, this doesn't add up, or this is something strange, or we got this document that none of that exists except in his head to this point. Nothing but what is in the head of a fairly disturbed individual capable of one of the worst political assassinations in recent memory. We'll break here and we'll wrap up the program. Remind you what we have coming up the rest of the week. Some angry storm clouds here in St. Louis Park right now.
Sky aware.
The last thing anyone wants is to leave behind confusion, stress, or worse, family conflict. That's why estate planning isn't just for the wealthy. It's for families like mine, and probably like yours. With Trust and Will, I created my estate plan in minutes, from naming guardians for my kids to putting our house in a trust to avoid probate. Fast, affordable, and way easier than I thought. Every plan is designed by estate planning attorneys and customized for your state. Plans start at just $199 and include essentials like healthcare directives and power of attorney. With Trust and Will's bank-level security and built-in privacy protections, your personal information and your wishes stay safe. Whether you're newly married, raising kids, caring for aging parents, or just want peace of mind, Trust and Will makes it easy to protect what matters most. Go to trustandwill.com, use code RADIO at checkout, and save 20% on your personalized plan. Because there's no better time to protect the people you love. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Stay tuned.
Show Wrap is presented by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Thank you to Ben Goessling, who joined at about 5:30 tonight. And I thank you, each and every one of the Dr. Dan's Inbox contributors today. That was between 4:30 and 5. We moved that to today because Gaardsy is out Thursday. He's off our show tomorrow, but he is hosting 9 to noon tomorrow with a heavy Golden Gopher emphasis and concentration. Is that correct? You're doing it from there?
From there, yeah. They're doing their local media day.
Nice.
Before we all go to Vegas next week. And so Grim's going to help me out for some of it. We've got both basketball coaches, Nico and Don, going to join me. Darius Taylor's going to join me.
Oh, nice.
Presumptive QB1 Drake Lindsay will join.
Whoa.
I think first time he's really done anything extended, as we would say. So I'm looking forward to that.
How about some Max Brosmer? I mean, he's moved on, but I mean, he probably still wants to hang a little bit.
We need to have Brosmer at the Perch when we go to Egan.
I'd love it.
He's the best.
If you can pull that off, that'd be great.
He'd come over if
that'd
we
be
wanted to.
outstanding.
He's, I'm just saying to JJ, make sure your meniscus is ready to go this year, bud.
Object in the mirror? Just
think about, we know JJ's rookie quarterback is good. The contract?
Yes.
What about an undrafted rookie quarterback contract? How good would that look to Quasi? So,
you kidding me?
Don't leave the field, JJ.
You don't have to worry about the salary cap. And that.
That's all I'm saying.
That's outstanding. Tomorrow, 2 in-studio guests. 2 for the price of 1. Pat Kessler will join us at his regular time tomorrow. And how about a little Gleeman without the geek? Yeah, now he's senior athletic writer. Congratulations to Gleeman. He's going to join us in studio. What time's he on tomorrow?
3:30.
3:30 for what usually ends up being a pretty or absorbing and entertaining and informative hour in which we'll talk about the Buxton comments. We'll talk about trade deadline stuff. We'll talk about Correa. We'll talk about ownership. Talk about everything with Gleeman between 3:30 and 4:30 on tomorrow's program. So stay sky aware is what you're saying, because it does look a little ominous here.
Yeah.
Are there any warnings out right now?
Just the heat advisory.
Okay.
But there's going to be some thunderstorms. I mean, that's what's inevitable here. I don't know about any severe watches or warnings. Nothing on the National Weather Service website, at least right now. I can hit refresh just to make sure. But thunderstorms are coming, as we can tell.
And you said there's supposed to be more rain coming as well, right?
Yeah, tomorrow, some on Friday.
So tonight, we don't have Lynx basketball. We don't have Wolves basketball. Did we end up winning our game today? I assume we did.
We ran away in the final 3 or 4 minutes.
Took care of business.
Terrence Shannon had like 24 points on 9 shots. Got to the line a bunch.
24 points, 8 turnovers, and 13 fouls, apparently. There's no limit. Well, actually, technically, I think 10 is the limit. Fan on demand.
But if 10 is the limit, is there really a limit?
No, there isn't.
There's not, right?
Somebody claimed, I don't remember this, that Cat fouled out of the summer, his first summer league, that he fouled out with 10 fouls. Did you remember? I don't remember that. It's possible.
I didn't, but that
it wouldn't shock me.
Would be on brand, as the kids said.
Yes, it would. Dan Patrick tonight as well. By the way, Dan Patrick made some news either late last week or early this week. Did you read? I don't know if it was a new interview or something on his show where he went back over how badly he thought, again, that he was treated.
Yes.
That ESPN tried to blackball him.
Yeah.
Once he left, basically trying to threaten stations that if you took his show and you're an ESPN station, we were going to take away your ESPN branding.
He was on the Pardon My Take podcast, the Barstool podcast.
Okay.
They were all at, I think, Tahoe for the celebrity golf thing last week.
Right.
So they called it a home and home. Big Cat and his co-host went on with Dan Patrick.
Okay.
And then Dan went on with those guys. I listened to the whole conversation that you're talking about, and he absolutely said that.
Man,
he did go over it. And he was great. I mean, he's DP.
Yeah, some of
right?
the stuff he's told before, like about what his wife said, and you're not going to know, you're going to regret it because you're not going to know your kids if you keep doing the Sports Center stuff. We've heard that a million times.
It hits me every time.
Yeah.
When he says, he goes, at the end of this, they'll be out of the house.
Yeah,
and I'm driving to Daryl Thompson's charity event on like a Saturday night to Rochester. I'm like, come on, man.
Don't do this to me.
Come on, DP.
Yeah.
I know. And football's about to start. Yeah.
Dan, the storm clouds are looking ugly. Can you deliver a PSA for those who are unsure what to do in a storm? Haven't seen the news deliver on this like they have with high heat and snow slash shoveling. That's Ed in St. Paul. Well, I think the best way to put it is stay sky aware.
Ian Leonard says it best.
So what are the odds tonight that the All-Star game is going to be preempted by the rolled up Ian Leonard sleeves?
I got a couple tweets about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Or Randy Myers' undone tie.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Stay
that.
Stay tie aware.
Yeah,
you never know.
That's very true too. But duty calls, man. You can't. If the weather's bad, you got to break in. And plus, it's just an All-Star game.
I think we'll survive.
It's not
the All-Star game.
It's an exhibition. But I'm sure we'll break it all down tomorrow. I will. You won't, because you'll be on, as I said, 9 to noon. I'm assuming I've got Brett Lickmore tomorrow.
You do.
Is that correct?
You do.
And so 2 good in-studio guests. Is it Friday we've got Craigers on?
Yes, right at the top of the show.
Looking forward to that as well. That'll be the official unveiling for our purposes of his new and improved podcast. Is that correct?
Well, the podcast he's doing for ESPN. It's
specifically.
It's a 30 for 30 podcast series.
Okay.
Where he plays a part of basically a basketball sabermetrician.
Okay.
Is how I understand it. So he's like an actor in this a little bit.
In a 30 for 30?
Yeah.
So it's
like a podcast.
Oh, okay, a podcast.
No, it's not fictional. It's a true story.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
He plays the sabermetrician?
Yes.
And there's a famous backstory involving this sabermetrician,
That's exactly
apparently?
right. And he apparently was a bit of an eccentric.
Okay.
Which makes sense why Craigers would be locked in and why this makes sense. So he's excited about it, and I think it drops next week, but he's going to join Friday.
We'll talk about all that Friday, and also we'll catch up with his view on the Wolves, the moves the Wolves have and have not made, and if he's satisfied, basically bringing the whole team, bringing most of the team back, bringing the band, running it back one more time, and figuring out if you can, take that last step, especially in an always difficult Western Conference as well. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for listening. As I mentioned, Fan on Demand is right around the corner, and I will talk to you at 3 tomorrow. Gaardsy will be in, not this chair, but he'll be on for PA from the U beginning at 9 a.m. Talk to you soon.
Well, go Twins. Thank you for the airtime, and I'll talk to you soon.
The job is done. We can go home now.